A friend of the Constitution, Ron Mate. It's really an honor to be able to speak on this day. This is a sacred day. You know, you think of all the holidays in America. You know, it's been said there's only one truly Christian holiday in America. It's not Christmas because, you know, there's no evidence Jesus was born in December. What does that have to do with a Christmas tree? There's a mingling of pagan rituals. Easter, the same thing. What do rabbits have to do with the resurrection? Thanksgiving is the only purely Christian holiday in America. I would argue, caveat to that, I would also say July 4th. July 4th is really a Christian holiday of what was accomplished by our founding fathers, and here we are. What I have found, and probably what you have found, is that our identity, our heritage, connection with these things, connections with our history is being lost. Especially if you're a little older, you are probably talking to the younger generations and they don't even know what you're talking about. I had a grandfather, like we all do, right? A grandfather. Adored my grandfather. He was a World War II veteran, World War II hero. He won a presidential citation. He used to ask me when I was little. He'd say, "Danny, do you know what makes America different from all the countries in the world?" Of course, I didn't know. "Okay, what, Grandpa?" He says, "In America, our rights come from God, not man, and man can't take them away." And then he told me something it meant little at the time, now means volumes. He said, "And they taught me that in school." My grandfather was born 100 years ago. He wasn't born in the Bible Belt. He was born in New Jersey. Well, not exactly a conservative, stalwart state. And they taught him that your rights come from God. And it's Thomas Jefferson, really. You want to talk about America? You want to talk about the key to everything that we're doing? Thomas Jefferson. Can the liberties of a nation be secure when we have removed the conviction that these liberties are the gift of God? If they're not from God, then who are they from? I guess government falls to government. So they're not rights anymore, they're privileges. In 1775, the tension between the United States and Britain really was reaching its peak. It was a push come to shove type moment. Patrick Henry was called, among other delegates, to come to a secret meeting in Richmond, Virginia at St. John's Church. You know, because the atheists always meet at the church, you know, those dirty atheists. That's sarcasm, everybody who doesn't know. So he had just witnessed a brutal beating on his way at Culpeper, Virginia, of a preacher who was arrested. He was one of 12 in the area that was arrested for preaching without a license. And they beat him to death. And they gave him many opportunities. "Hey, if you'll just take this license, we'll stop beating you." They said, "No, if God called me to preach, I don't need the permission of man." And so framed the debate and the discussion about what America is. Are you given the ability to choose for yourself by a higher power, or you are subject to something else? There's only two ideologies in this universe. This sounds familiar. I'll probably get a little religious here, but it's really, this is universal. You're either endowed by a higher power, you are given the ability to choose, and you are then tasked to choose your destiny. And that's your responsibility, and that you have the dominion, and an authority is given to you. Or Lucifer's plan was that no, God should have never given free will, never given fire. Even Greek mythology talks about this. Never given these choices to man, because man will just screw them up. And I'm going to prove it to you by creating war and disease, and use man's choice and use man's ability and turn them into a disaster so that you see. There's only two ideologies. That's where all this fits in. Patrick Henry at this meeting, there were men of renown. I mean, these are some of the most famous men in America at the time. Some stood up and said, "Look, we need to negotiate with Britain. We're not strong enough to fight them. We need to just keep negotiating and things will work out." Others said, "No, Britain is our mother country. We owe allegiance to them, so we need to fall in line and just that's it." And Patrick Henry rose and gave the greatest speech in American history, and I'm going to highlight 4 parts of it. One, He said, he asked the question, what in their conduct over the last 10 years gives you any idea that they have your best interests at heart? And so I would ask you that question today. Look over the political landscape. What has happened over the last 10 years that you feel real good about? So, thank you, Maria. Do what? Congratulations. They didn't vote for Biden, did they? Oh, did I say that out loud? Anyway, congratulations. Politically, the last 10 years have been brutal for the United States and our heritage. He also said, we are undefeatable if we're united in liberty. He said, God will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. This is prophecy. I mean, this is the greatest speech ever in American history. And then he asked the most important political question ever asked. Is life so dear or peace so sweet to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? What is he asking? Is your life worth more than freedom, or is freedom worth more than your life? And the question, he answered it, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. That was the answer. In America, your life is not worth as much as freedom. And so, the shot heard around the world in Lexington and Concord, the British was about to take the guns, and the war was on. But it still wasn't, still, even after all this, it wasn't decided. Can somebody give me some water? I'm like dying up here. Look at me. Thank you, Charlie.
You need to talk a little louder.
Talk louder. I usually don't hear that.
Louder!
Yeah. There's a first for everything. Talk a little louder. Is that better? You may eat this mic? This was not made for a 6'6" person. So it was tasked, what are we going to do? What is America? If I raise this, it's going to burst, isn't it?
Take it out.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, come on, Maria. Okay, we're doing all right. See, I don't want to do that either. See, now I really screwed up. David, Bueller. I don't know what I did. I'm out. Intermission. You want to just take it out? Would that be better? Okay, Maria knows best. There we go. So what was America going to do? 5 people were tasked to write a declaration. Sherman, Livingston, Franklin, Adams, and of course Thomas Jefferson. The most important political statement that has ever been written is in the Declaration of Independence, and this is America. If we're going to move forward, it is my proposition to you that we must be united about something. We all have different ideas, and you get conservative people in the room, and we can agree on 80, 90%, and pretty soon we'll be arguing about the 10%. We need to be united about something. And we look to our founding fathers because, believe me, they argued back and forth about this vehemently. And what they came up with probably is what we should go with. Thomas Jefferson. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. I'm going to go over each part of this. We hold these truths to be self-evident. The founders adored Isaac Newton. Why did they like Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton taught them that they could observe the world and come up and discover a truth, that there is truth in the universe. This is a truth-based world. So Thomas said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. This is obvious. All men are created equal. What does that mean? Does that mean LeBron James and equality and all that? No. You're created equal in your dominion. What is your dominion? What have you been given that only you have dominion over? Your body, your person, your destiny. You are endowed, think about that word, endowed with certain unalienable rights. He could have used the word inalienable. He did not. Inalienable and unalienable are 2 different words. So has anybody ever bought a house and got a mortgage? And then what do they slap on your house? A lien. What does that mean? Do you own the house? You have something that's unalienable. Nobody can attach to it. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness is a very curious word. It's found really almost no place else before this. John Locke, you can give him some credit to the influence. They believed that the highest state, the highest achievement of mankind was to be happy. Sound familiar? That's what our founders believed. And that you must have the ability to pursue that happiness and not be interfered with. You must have the freedom to choose your own destiny as long as you respect other people. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Government is not there to keep you safe. Government's only and best and primary purpose is to secure the rights that God gave you, because only you can act in your own best interest, and you will act in your own best interest. And so that started America. The fight began. There were many. To say it was a miracle that America won would be probably an understatement. We looked to the Red Sea, parting of the Red Sea, what have you. I could tell you numerous stories where it was over. It was first and goal, the other team on the 1-inch yard line, and all they needed was a field goal. Probably 4 or 5 times. Every one of them. I'll tell you once. You want to hear a story? You want to hear something happen? I don't know if people know this story very much. Maybe you do. Maybe you look like you're pretty sharp with your Eagles shirt there. Maybe you do. At one point, one of the darkest days of American history, they were pinned up against the East River in New York. The British Army had driven them, and they were running for their lives. They were pinned up against the river, and nightfall came. Thank God. That night, there's only one retreat, the East River, into the Atlantic. British ships were set out on the Atlantic, waiting for the retreat to capture George Washington, certainly hang him, and all the American army. The bulk of it. It was done. It was over. Britain camped, waited for the next day so that they could come and destroy the American army, destroy the American hope, and enact the British will against the American colonies in defiance of the Declaration of Independence and everyone who signed it. That night, a fog came over the area, so thick you couldn't see 5 feet in front of your face. The British, of course, they just stood there. Morning came, and the fog was still there. That night also, a hurricane out of hurricane season, a hurricane came into the Atlantic and blew the British ships out. George Washington hurriedly, everybody who had a fishing ship, everybody who had a little dinghy, everybody who had a rowboat, everybody who had a flotation device was carrying American soldiers all night off the East River. A hurricane blew Britain off the Atlantic. The fog so thick, Britain was stopped even during the day. The fog lifted when the last boat of America was off the shore. And the scout came and saw it and fired a futile shot against the American army. You don't think there was providence in this? You don't think there was something special? You don't think the Declaration of Independence means something? From that point, America won. Another miracle how they even won. France left weeks earlier. They thought, well, there may be something to this. Maybe America has a chance. One time in the Revolutionary War, or the War for American Independence, was Britain on the ropes. One. Cornwallis was stuck on the Chesapeake, wanted to go to the Atlantic, to go back up north to meet with the other British stronghold. France left weeks earlier. If they would have showed up 10 minutes later, they would have missed them. As Britain got on the boats to retreat, France was there. They left 3 weeks earlier and hit on the exact moment. You believe that? It's unbelievable. George Washington is quoted when asked why he didn't write his memoirs. He said, nobody would believe it if I did. It's a miracle. Why? Because something is inside you that must be accounted for, that you must be allowed to express. Your freedom, your dignity, your future, your hope, the expression of divinity that is within you cannot be controlled by government. The Constitution was ratified. Patrick Henry would not ratify it, would not agree to it. George Mason, others. They said, unless you put a Bill of Rights, because I do not trust government. They had experience, like Isaac Newton, they had observed the world. They did not trust government, and they wanted something written down, no crosses count, absolute, red line in the sand, this is it. They had about 140 or so different proposals. They whittled it down to 10, became the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the absolute supreme law of this land. Why is it so important? The Bill of Rights doesn't tell you to do anything, has no effect on you. It's what the government cannot do to you. And it holds you in your position next to your Creator. It's like a floor to support you next to God so that you can express and live your life so the government will not interfere with it. So when you think that you're frustrated, and I want to read the preamble to the Bill of Rights in case you think I'm exaggerating, in case you think I made any of this up. Maybe I'm overstating. And on this sheet, I'm reading off this sheet, the foundational laws of the United States of America, by the way. Right above Amendment 1, this is the preamble to the Bill of Rights. Yeah, there should be some on your table. There should be several of there. The conventions of the number of states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers. What did I just tell you? This is what they've told us. I can read. Can you? I mean, we all can, right? We don't want them to abuse their power. That further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added and as extending the grounds of public confidence in government. Why do you not have confidence in government? History. He said history. My man right here said history. You don't trust the government. You don't have confidence in them because they don't follow the Bill of Rights. That's what the Bill of Rights is. Put those two together, please. And will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. If this government is going to succeed, the Founding Fathers believed that these amendments were absolute. You can read the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, Article 6, Section 2. It will tell you. Now, I want you to know I've had attorney generals of states. I've heard it from their own mouth. I've heard, several county attorneys, several county city council members tell me that state statute, city statute, what have you, trumps the Bill of Rights. My God. My God. This is where we are. And this is what we're dealing with. And why do we have a problem? Because this is not being enforced. And if all the power is in we the people, where do you think the government goes to get power? From you. And so here we are. And these Bill of Rights are absolute, and we need to enforce them. And I think Maria's going to mention the 76 project that we're starting. This is very important because we hear about these things going on, and we hear about, some 5-year-old learning about, I don't want to be too vulgar, but I mean, this is adult. They can say it to our 5-year-olds, so I can say it to you. Okay? They teach 5-year-olds about anal sex. They have 10-year-olds running condom relay races in school. These are state laws in many of the states in our country right now. Right now. But we don't know about it. We don't organize against it. The other side is well organized. The teachers union, all these curriculums are super well organized. The 76 projects, we need your support. Will you take a text message and say, hey, we need you to call the county commissioner and tell them you don't want this? Will you do that? If we get 500 people, we get enough support, we do that. Here in this county, the counties surrounding us, we can make our will known. We're the majority. We are the majority. Why are we letting our birthright and our inheritance be taken from us? Why are we listening to the siren song of safety or the siren song of whatever and ask us to trade? And you may say, and I've heard this argument, and especially about, I'm not talking about the vaccine, good, bad, indifferent. You want to get it, get it. If you don't, don't. But to mandate it, I will say something. Either this matters and this is the law, or it doesn't. It's one or the other. And if you look at the younger generation, and you just ask your grandchildren, ask them if they know what year the Declaration of Independence was written. And then you'll say, wow, maybe, wow. In 20 years, 30 years, this will be gone. This will be gone. And if you say that this is extreme, that we need to slow down, we need to balance freedom with safety and whatever, well, one, the founding fathers already did do it. Two, of course it's extreme. It's happened once in 6,000 years. Once in 6,000 years has a country honored the endowment of their creator and put it to law. Show me another one. If we let this go, my God, if we let them take this from us, wow. It's an absolute honor to be here with you today. It's an honor to speak before Dorothy and Priscilla there. They need your support in what they're doing. And having these people in the state Congress is extremely important. Ladies and gentlemen, if we love freedom, you love your inheritance, you love your future, the only safety is in freedom. The only safety is in the Bill of Rights. They've already argued about that. Why are we still debating these things? Why are we letting them take them from us? God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and I hope this means something to you.
Thank you, Daniel. That was tremendous.